How long will it take me to sew this dress? Place your bets now. Hello from the middle of September and hurricane season in Virginia. So it has been raining for the past 3 days and is going to rain probably for the next 2. That's not why my hair is wet. I actually showered in the morning today. Typically I shower at night, but I was too tired last night after staying up much later than I should have, editing the captions on my latest video. So I have wet hair and I'm just letting it dry naturally, doing its thing. Anyway, you are here to watch me sew, so I should probably sew. Annoyingly, I had planned on making this dress finally this week, and now it's rainy and dreary and all I want to do is snuggle up in cozy flannel shirts and not work on a very, very summery, lightweight white dress. But at this point, I really want to get this one off of my list because I think it's been on my list the longest of any of my current projects. I've had this fabric, these buttons, and this red rickrack trim in my stash and all ready to go to make this specific dress since 2016. So I want to just do it and get it done and move on to more immediately exciting things. And next week it is supposed to get hot again, so I'm hoping I will still get a chance to wear it before the weather really cools down and turns into fall. So here's hoping. Now this fabric is going to be very interesting to work with. It has a very subtle woven check pattern to it, both horizontal and vertical stripes, which I really love. The problem is, it is extremely off-grain. I don't know if you can see that or not. So even though the stripes are woven in, they are not sitting perpendicular to the selvage edge, like not even remotely. So I'm going to have to correct that before I cut it out. Now, how do I correct that when there's only one of me and the technique that I would normally use to straighten a grain line in a long piece of fabric requires 2 people? Basically, that technique is to unfold your fabric to its full length and each of 2 people grab one diagonal corner across from each other and pull as hard as you can to stretch the grain back into place. Of course, it's very important that you grab the correct diagonal corners. However, this fabric that I have is almost 4 yards long, and that's quite a bit longer than, you know, my wingspan. If it were a yard of fabric, I could probably do it by myself, but 4 yards, no. So we are going to improvise. May have overdone it. Now the best way to test if I have done a good job is to cut right along the grain, and normally I would need to pull threads to do that, But since I have that woven stripe, I don't have to pull threads, I can just cut right along one of the stripes. Side note, look how weird this was cut to begin with. I have no idea where I got this fabric. It's just one that's been in my stash for a long time, and its origins have been lost to history. Okay, that's definitely better than it was. Still a little warped around the selvage edge, but it's getting better. This is much better than it was. I was able to further straighten out the grain when I was ironing it by just smoothing it out on the ironing board in little sections and pressing it nice and flat. There's still some warping at the selvage, but I believe that is because the selvage shrank more than the rest of the fabric when it was washed. And that does make sense because the selvage is more tightly woven than the rest of the fabric. And I've had that happen with selvages before, so that's not surprising. Anyway, I think it's good enough now that I am confident I can start cutting. So yesterday I did a lot of preparation work to sew. A little bit of sewing, but a lot of marking and pressing. And I got the interfacing attached to the neck facing and the center fronts of the bodice pieces and the skirt pieces. So those both have self-facings, and that's all nice and pressed. And I also attached the interfacing to the collar piece and marked, I don't know if you can see my marks at all, but I very faintly marked with a washable pen the line for the trim placement of the rickrack, which I'm going to do now. But I wanted to do all of the prep work that involved white thread first, so that I could then change my thread color to red one time, sew all the trim, and then change it back to white and finish the dress. Which actually means I need to do a little bit more sewing with white because I need to sew the shoulder seams and put the tucks in the shoulders before I attach the rickrack trim to the shoulders. But while I had my machine all threaded in white, I went ahead and worked on a couple of other projects that have been languishing, like the final slip in my slip making marathon. This, of course, is the heavily pieced one with the insertion lace patchwork nonsense. It is assembled now. It was 4 separate pieces and now it's all together as one. I did go ahead and use the insertion lace again for the side seams, and I really like how that worked. I think it turned out really nice. I think it looks pretty. And I did try it on and it fits, so that's good. So all this needs now is the top binding along the front, around the back, and up to the front again, and the straps, and a hem. And then that will be done, and I'll have yet another slip to add to my growing collection. And I have also gone ahead and added the bias armhole binding to an Edwardian corset cover that I made, a year ago now. Might have been longer than that, I'm not really sure. This is another piece that I did not have enough fabric to make what I wanted, but I really liked the fabric. It's such a fine sheer cotton. I really wanted to make a corset cover and there wasn't enough, so I just used wide insertion lace to piece it so that I made enough. I mean, it worked, so... But like I said, I did all of the piecing at least a year ago and just stalled out on finishing it. I picked it up a few weeks ago and did the beading lace along the top and bottom that will be used to gather up those edges when worn, and then stalled out again. But like I said, since I had white thread on the machine, I went ahead and finished off those armholes. And now all it needs is buttons and buttonholes, which will be good because I want to wear it this weekend. I have an event to attend, and I will be wearing my Edwardian lingerie dress, and I wanted a new corset cover. I have one that works fine, but I want to wear the new one. So I'll get that finished while I have white thread on the machine. Okay, so now I can start assembling my dress. Very exciting. And the sun is making an effort to peek out today. It has stopped raining, I hope. Oh yeah, here it comes. Oh, I missed you, sun. Welcome back. Anyway, I need to do the darts in the skirt and sew the shoulder seams and do the tucks across the shoulders. Then I can switch my machine to red, attach the trim, and switch back to white. Although I should really cut out a couple of pockets. Now, because this fabric is quite sheer, I will of course wear a slip under it, but I do not intend to line it because I like the sheerness and I want to retain that aspect of this fabric. So traditional you know, hidden side seam pockets are not going to fly on this particular dress because obviously you will be able to see them through the dress fabric. So what I would like to do instead is square patch pockets and make them a decorative design element. So they will be getting some red rickrack trim as well. I have plenty of scraps of this fabric, so cutting out pockets will not be a problem. I do want to make them fairly large, I think. And I kind of really want to use the selvage as the top edge of the pocket, because then I could just turn it under once and sew it, and it will look nicely finished on the outside, because of course you'll be able to see through the fabric. And because the selvage is skewed pretty heavily, I'm just going to cut right along the grain, get my rectangle, and press it really, really well before I sew it. I hope that will work. Now, because my fabric is sheer, not fully sheer, but, you know, has sheerness to it, I really need to think about how I'm going to finish my seams, because that will show on the outside. For me, the easiest way to finish seams is always just to overlock on my machine, but for one thing, this fabric is a fairly loose weave, and I think that overlocking would not quite be enough. And also, I don't think I would like how that would look on the outside. I could do French seams, but I don't really want to, partly because this tuck in the shoulder here would get really bulky with a French seam, because it would have to all be pressed over to one side and then folded over on itself 3 times, so that would just be so much bulk on the shoulder, and then I'd have to sew the rickrack over French seam. I don't want to do that. So I think the cleanest, best looking, and also easiest seam finish would be to serge all of the raw edges of all of the pieces before I sew them together. Of course, my serger is threaded in black currently, so I'm going to have to change the thread. No, I lost bobbin chicken again. I sewed this entire seam and this entire seam with no bobbin thread. I did not intentionally wear the same blouse that I made from the pattern that I'm now working on a dress from. That was just a happy accident. I swear, there's always just so much more preparing to sew than actual sewing that goes on every time. But I have today done the darts in the skirt pieces and the tucks in the shoulder seam. So that's these tucks here. It's very convenient that I'm wearing this blouse. And I'm realizing I did these differently than the pattern calls for, I think. Let me check. Yeah, I did. I put these on the inside and they're supposed to go on the outside. So, that's fun. So now I am actually ready to switch my machine to red thread and sew on the rickrack trim. Except that actually, no, I need to leave for Philadelphia in about half an hour. So I will not be doing that today, but it will be ready to go when I get back. Okay, I'm back from my weekend in Philadelphia. I attended my friend Kat's Victorian garden party. I got to wear my lingerie dress, which was a lot of fun, and I had a great time. And now I'm back and ready to sew some rickrack. Okay, all of my red rickrack trim is applied, and I have just a little bit left. I'm considering cutting it in half and making a couple of cute little bows, maybe to put on the pocket. That might be cute. And now I get to finally put this dress together. Only not right now because my sewing time for the day is over and I will have to wait until tomorrow. I have a meeting this evening, so there will be no sewing after supper, or after the kids are in bed, most likely. But I'm so close. I'm so close to being done. I'm so excited. Okay, quick try on for the bodice, checking the fit, and also my adjusted darts. I moved them down about 2 inches from where the pattern had them. They were like right under the arm, and they looked really dumb when I had them on the teal blouse. So I knew I wanted to adjust them for this, and it's still not exactly where my bust is, but you know, I'm gonna leave it. It is a loose fitting bodice, so the darts are not crucial, but I wanted to have them in for authenticity, I guess. I went ahead and hand tacked the facings along the sleeve edges because I wore the teal blouse recently. Those facings kept wanting to flip out and they were driving me crazy. And actually this is what the pattern says to do anyway, so I think that worked. Oh gosh, it's really cute. I like it a lot. Let's see how it looks with the collar. I think it's going to be approximately like that. That's cute. I think it will look better with the red buttons and the skirt attached and everything else, but yeah, I'm liking this. Might as well do a skirt try on as well. I have the pockets pinned approximately where I'm thinking of putting them. I did this one first and I put it just below the front skirt dart and kind of centered in between the center front and side seam. But I don't think I like how that would look mirrored, so I moved this one over so it's kind of more on the hip. And I think I like that better. I think that looks more balanced if I move this one over. Am I gonna look like a nurse? I've been doing just lots of little bits of sewing here and there for the last week or two. Not really having a lot of time to sit and dedicate to sewing. There's just a lot of other stuff going on, and honestly I keep getting distracted. Anyway, I think I'm on track to finish this dress before the end of the month. That would be good. And I still need to sew the buttons and buttonholes on the gray button-down blouse. But other than that, I think it's done. It's already hemmed and everything. Oh, I do want to fix the sleeves. But I might do the buttonholes first, just to have that finished, and fix the sleeves on another month. But it's good. I'm on track. I'm still plugging away. I'm so close to being done with this dress, and if I finish it today, I can wear it tomorrow. I just found out that there's a vintage fair near me, and I'm really excited. I've decided not to be too precious with the pocket placement because perfection is the enemy of done? Whatever. So what I've done is just matched up the front corner of the pocket with the end of the dart, and instead of trying to line it up exactly on the grain line because the pocket is cut on the grain line, I decided to give the back edge of the pocket a parallel line with the side seam that it is overlapping. And that way I don't have to drive myself crazy trying to match up parallel lines. It's not supposed to be parallel with any of the grain lines on the skirt. It's just going to be parallel with the side seam. And that, I think, is going to make this much easier on me. I can just sew it and it'll work and it'll be fine. Yeah, this very much does look like a nurse's uniform. I think the red buttons will help. Wait, okay, that definitely helps. That helps too. Okay, I did not finish the white and red dress yesterday so that I could wear it today. I took a nap instead. That's what I needed, and that's what I got, so... But it's fine. I wore this dress, and it's probably more comfortable than that one would have been anyway. And I got a lot of compliments on it, so winning. The dress is done. It looks exactly like the photo on the pattern envelope, which admittedly is what I was going for, but it still surprised me somehow. I don't know. I think I was not super confident in my skills to make it look the way it was supposed to look, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because when I made the blouse from the same pattern, I used the wrong fabric, and I also made a mistake with the tucks on the shoulder. I inverted them instead of having them, you know, sit on the outside. And I didn't do the collar because I was doing the version without the collar. And so it was partly successful, but it was weird. And this just went together the way it was supposed to. I had no problems following the instructions. I'm very happy with the outcome. The fabric has a nice stiffness to it, so the sleeves do stand out on the shoulder like they're supposed to. It does read nurse. I think, as my husband actually pointed out, the pockets do not help with that. They make it look more nurse than not. But the buttons do help. The buttons help bring it to a summery beach vacation direction, which is what I was going for. And the belt will help too. And a hat will help. And I think these adorable cherry earrings that I got at the vintage market yesterday will definitely help. Side note, I had wanted to wear this dress for the vintage market. I was hoping to finish it in time. Did not happen, but that's okay. The dress I ended up wearing was the Bright Daisies dress, and that was actually really convenient because I was realizing that I needed some accessories to go with that dress, specifically earrings, and so it was helpful to have it on and be able to compare the things that I was finding with that outfit. I didn't find any earrings in the fuchsia color that I would really like to have to go with that dress, but perhaps in the future. Anyway, I am going to steam my striped hat and see if I can get the brim to lay flat, because I do want to do a photo shoot, like an all-out styled shoot with this dress, with my red heels, my cherry earrings, the belt, and the hat. This dress needs accessories to make it look like it's not a nurse's uniform. So yes, finished. I can check it off my list. And if I do the buttonholes really quick on the gray rayon blouse, I will have 4 completed items for this month, because tomorrow's the last day and that's when I film my recap video, so that's really exciting. The only other time I've gotten 4 garments done in a month was April, and every other time I've had 2 at most, so this is really good because helping me bring up my average. Still not at 2 per month, which was my goal, but I'm really happy with this dress. I think it's going to be fun to wear, even if it does look like a nurse's costume. I don't care. I'm gonna love it. Buttonholes are done. And I won Bobbin Chicken! Yes! Okay, I did finish the buttons and buttonholes last night, so this blouse is officially done. I like it more than I thought I would. I was not sure how the neck bow tie was going to sit on me and if I was going to like it, but it's not too tight around my neck. I really don't like things tight on my neck. And I think it's pretty darn cute, actually. My husband said I look like an airline stewardess, which I consider a compliment. And I do definitely think it reads more 60s than 40s, which makes sense because it's a 60s pattern. But I'm okay with it. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's very cute. I am still going to take off the sleeves, cut the armscye lower, and bring them down a bit because there's plenty of extra gathers in the top that I don't really like. But that is going to be later on. It's finished. It's wearable. I'm checking it off my list. So that is actually going to conclude the 2nd September vlog. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Airplane. I should fact check that. I have no idea what I was going to say. I don't think I had anything to say. Well, anyway.